In the quiet town of Millbrook, where the sea whispered against rocky shores, Thomas Miller's world was crumbling. At 32, he carried the weight of responsibility like a heavy backpack, his shoulders permanently hunched from the burden of survival. The factory where he had worked for 11 years closed suddenly, leaving dozens of workers, including Thomas, without hope. Unemployment was a monster that haunted the small coastal community, consuming dreams and leaving only desperation in its wake. Thomas lived in a tiny two-bedroom apartment with his 7-year-old daughter, Emily. Her bright blue eyes and messy, blonde hair were his only source of joy. Each morning she would wake up and ask, "Daddy, can we have pancakes?" Not understanding the financial struggle that made even simple meals a challenge, their kitchen told the story of their struggle. Half-empty cupboards, a single box of cheap cereal, and a dwindling jar of peanut butter. Thomas would make sure Emily ate first, sometimes skipping his own meals to ensure she was fed. Job applications became his daily ritual. He would sit at the old computer desk, fingers typing furiously, sending out resume after resume. Each rejection felt like a punch to his already bruised spirit. The local job center became his second home, where hope hung by a thread. Emily didn't fully understand unemployment, but she sensed her father's stress. She would draw pictures of him working, stick figures with big smiles, and stick them on the refrigerator. "You'll get a job, Daddy," she would say with childlike confidence that both broke and mended Thomas's heart. The town of Millbrook was unforgiving. Once a thriving industrial community, it now resembled a ghost of its former self. Shops closed, businesses disappeared, and hope became a rare commodity. Thomas watched as neighbors packed their belongings, moving to cities with more opportunities. Nights were the hardest. After putting Emily to bed, Thomas would sit by the window, watching the streetlights flicker, calculating their remaining money. Electricity bills, rent, food. Each expense felt like a mountain too steep to climb. His savings were rapidly disappearing. The small emergency fund he had carefully built over years was now shrinking faster than he could imagine. One unexpected expense could push them over the edge. Poverty is a silent predator. It doesn't roar, it whispers, slowly consuming dignity and hope. Thomas felt this every day. His pride, once strong, now felt like a fragile thing that could shatter with the slightest pressure. He remembered his late wife Sarah, who passed away 3 years ago. She would have known what to do, how to keep hope alive. Her memory was both a comfort and a painful reminder of what he had lost. The local community center became Thomas's lifeline. Free coffee, a warm space, and occasional job posting boards offered a glimmer of hope. Here he met other struggling parents, sharing silent understanding through exhausted glances and forced smiles. Emily's school was another source of worry. She needed new shoes, school supplies, and occasional extras that seemed impossible now. Thomas felt the weight of providing not just survival, but a childhood with some joy and normalcy. Winter was approaching, and with it came additional challenges. Heating bills, warmer clothes, potential illnesses. Each thought added another layer of anxiety to Thomas's already stressed mind. But Thomas was not a man to give up easily. Every rejection, every closed door was met with renewed determination. He knew Emily was watching, learning from his resilience. He would not let her see defeat, would not allow her to lose hope. In the evenings, he would tell Emily stories. Stories of brave people who overcame challenges, of hard work paying off, of hope surviving against all odds. These were not just bedtime tales, but lessons of survival, whispered with love and conviction. As another day ended in Millbrook, Thomas tucked Emily into bed, kissed her forehead, and looked out the window. The sea continued its endless rhythm, waves rising and falling, much like his own hopes and struggles. Tomorrow was another day, another chance, another opportunity to change their story. The community center buzzed with quiet energy on that crisp autumn morning. Thomas shuffled in, his weathered jacket hanging loosely on his thin frame. Another stack of job applications clutched in his hand. He looked tired, defeated, but something inside him refused to give up. Margaret Roberts, a volunteer in her late 50s, noticed him immediately. She had seen countless struggling parents. But there was something different about Thomas, a quiet determination that caught her eye. Her own life had been filled with challenges, and she recognized the look of a parent fighting for their child. "Would you like some coffee?" she asked, her warm voice cutting through Thomas's concentration. He looked up, surprised by the unexpected kindness. Most days, people barely noticed him. The community center was more than just a building. It was a lifeline for people like Thomas, those hanging on by a thread, hoping for a chance to rebuild. Posters about job training, community support, and local resources covered the walls, each one a potential pathway to hope. Emily, who had come with her father, sat quietly coloring at a nearby table. Her small hands moved carefully, creating a world of bright colors that contrasted with the gray reality around her. She hummed softly, unaware of the weight her father carried. Margaret noticed the way Thomas watched his daughter. His eyes were full of love, pain, and an unmistakable determination. She had seen that look before, in mirrors in other parents' faces, in the reflection of her own past struggles. "There's a vocational training program," Margaret said, sliding a brochure across the table. "It's free. Helps people learn new skills, find jobs in technology, and repair work." Her words were simple, but they carried the weight of possibility. Thomas hesitated. He had never considered himself good with technology. Factory work had been his life, physical labor, straightforward tasks. Computers seemed like a world completely foreign to him, but Emily looked up. "Daddy can do anything," she said, her childlike confidence filling the room with unexpected warmth. Margaret smiled. She saw the program as more than just job training. It was a bridge between desperation and hope, a pathway to rebuild a life that seemed broken. The training program wasn't easy. It would require commitment, learning new skills, facing technological challenges that seemed impossible. Thomas's hands, used to factory machinery, would need to learn delicate computer repairs. That evening at home, Thomas spread the brochure on the kitchen table. Emily watched him, her young eyes full of curiosity. "Are you going to learn computers, Daddy?" she asked, her excitement infectious. Thomas realized this was more than just a job opportunity. This was a chance to show Emily that challenges could be overcome, that life could change with determination and hard work. The next week, he enrolled in the program. The first day was overwhelming. Young students with technical backgrounds surrounded him. Thomas felt old, out of place, like a relic from a different time, but Margaret's words echoed in his mind. "Everyone starts somewhere," she had told him. "Your life experience is valuable. Your determination matters more than any technical skill." Slowly, Thomas began to learn. Computer components that once looked like complicated puzzles started making sense. Each small victory, understanding a circuit, repairing a simple device, built his confidence. Emily became his biggest supporter. She would ask about his classes, listen to him explain technical concepts she couldn't understand, but loved hearing about anyway. Her belief in him was unwavering. The community center became more than a place of support. It became a symbol of hope, a testament to human resilience. Thomas was not just learning a skill, he was rebuilding his life, one computer, repair at a time. Winter approached, but for the first time in months Thomas felt warmth, not from a heater, but from hope. A hope that whispered of possibility, of a future where he could provide for Emily, where their struggles might finally ease. As night fell, Thomas looked at his daughter sleeping peacefully. Her small hands, her innocent dreams, her unbreakable spirit, they were his motivation. Whatever challenges came, they would face them together. A glimmer of hope had entered their lives, and it was growing brighter with each passing day. The computer training program became Thomas's battlefield. Each lesson felt like climbing a mountain, with bare hands, challenging every ounce of his determination. The other students, mostly younger and seemingly more tech-savvy, moved quickly through complex concepts, while Thomas struggled. Late nights became his new normal. While Emily slept, he would spread textbooks and computer parts across the kitchen table, his reading lamp casting long shadows. Complex circuit diagrams looked like mysterious languages he was desperately trying to understand. His instructor, Robert Peterson, was a patient man in his 40s. He recognized Thomas's potential beyond technical skills. "It's not about being the fastest," he would tell Thomas. "It's about understanding the core principles." Some nights, frustration would overwhelm Thomas. Technical terms like motherboard, RAM, and processor seemed like foreign words. He would look at Emily's sleeping face and feel the weight of his responsibility. Giving up was not an option. The upcoming certification exam became a monster in Thomas's mind. It represented everything he feared: potential failure, another disappointment in a life already filled with challenges. Each practice test felt like a battle against his own limitations. Emily noticed her father's stress. She would quietly bring him cups of tea, her small hands carefully balancing the mug. "You can do it, Daddy," she would say, her belief unwavering. Her simple faith became Thomas's strongest motivation. At the community center, Margaret continued supporting him. She arranged extra study sessions, connected Thomas with additional resources. "Your age is not a weakness," she would remind him. "Your life experience is your greatest strength." The other students began to respect Thomas. They saw his determination, his willingness to stay late, ask questions, and work harder than anyone else. What he lacked in natural technical skills, he made up with pure dedication. Practice became Thomas's religion. He would solve practice problems repeatedly, break down complex concepts into simple steps. His notebook became filled with hand-drawn diagrams, notes scribbled in margins, showing his journey of understanding. Financial pressure continued mounting. Their savings dwindled. Some nights, Thomas would look at their nearly empty refrigerator and feel a moment of panic. But Emily's presence always brought him back, reminded him of why he was fighting. The local library became his second home. Free computer access, quiet study spaces, and helpful librarians supported his learning journey. He would spend hours there, surrounded by technology books, slowly building his knowledge. His hands, once used to factory machinery, were learning new skills. Delicate movements replacing heavy lifting, precision replacing brute force. Each small repair he successfully completed felt like a personal victory. Practice tests became his benchmark. Initial scores were low, sometimes embarrassingly so. But gradually, incrementally, his performance improved. Each percentage point felt like climbing another step towards a better future. Emily became his unexpected study buddy. Though she didn't understand the technical details, she would quiz him, hold practice flashcards, and celebrate every small achievement. Her excitement was infectious, turning stressful study sessions into moments of joy. The certification exam date approached. Thomas's anxiety grew. Sleepless nights became more frequent. He would practice solving problems, his mind racing through potential scenarios, potential questions that might appear. Margaret and Robert offered additional support: extra study sessions, mock interviews, practical problem-solving workshops. They saw in Thomas something beyond just a student. They saw a man fighting for his family's future. One evening, practice test results showed significant improvement. For the first time, Thomas scored above 80%. The kitchen erupted in celebration. Emily danced around. Thomas laughed, a sound that had been rare in their home recently. The exam was more than just a test of technical skills. It represented hope, resilience, the ability to change one's circumstances. Thomas understood this deeply. Every moment of struggle, every late night, every difficult concept conquered was leading to this moment. As the exam date drew closer, Thomas reflected on his journey. From a struggling factory worker to a potential computer repair technician, his path had been anything but straightforward. But he had learned something more valuable than technical skills: the power of persistence. Emily watched her father, her eyes filled with admiration. She didn't fully understand the challenges, but she understood love, determination, and hope. And in that moment, those were the most important lessons of all. The challenge had deepened, but so had Thomas's resolve to overcome it. The exam day arrived like a storm waiting to break. Thomas woke before sunrise, his hands trembling slightly, as he prepared breakfast for Emily. Every movement felt calculated, every breath measured. Margaret had driven him to the testing center, her presence a quiet source of support. "You're ready," she whispered, squeezing his hand. Thomas wasn't so sure. Years of self-doubt had built thick walls around his confidence. The testing room felt like a battlefield, rows of computers, nervous students, the sound of typing creating a rhythmic tension. Thomas sat in the middle, his worn jacket hanging. On the back of his chair, a reminder of his journey. As the exam began, the first few questions seemed like another language. Circuit diagrams blurred, technical terms danced across the screen. For a moment, panic threatened to consume him, but then he heard Emily's voice in his mind. "You can do it, Daddy." Thomas closed his eyes briefly. He remembered the late nights, studying, Emily's sleeping form in the next room, the countless practice tests. He wasn't just fighting for a certification, he was fighting for their future. The first section passed, then the second. Each solved problem felt like breaking through. A wall. His fingers, once clumsy with technology, now moved with unexpected precision. Years of factory work had given him patience, attention to detail. Around him, younger students finished quickly. Thomas worked methodically, double-checking each answer. He wasn't racing. He was understanding. Hours passed. The final section arrived. A complex problem that would determine everything. Thomas read it carefully, breaking it down into smaller pieces, just like Robert had taught him, just like he had learned to solve life's challenges. When the final click submitted his exam, Thomas felt something shift. Whether he passed or failed, he had already won. He had tried. He had fought. Outside, Margaret waited. Emily bounced with excitement, her small hands clutching a hand-drawn good luck card. "Did you do your best?" she asked, her eyes bright with hope. The results would take weeks. But something had already changed in Thomas. The man who entered the exam was not the same man who would leave. That evening, they celebrated with a simple meal. Cheap pizza, shared between a father and daughter who understood the meaning of hope. Emily didn't know about certifications, but she knew her father was special. A week later, the letter arrived. Thomas's hands shook as he opened it. Passed. Not just passed, but with a score that surprised everyone, including himself. The local computer repair shop heard about his story. They needed someone reliable, someone who understood hard work. They offered Thomas a job on the spot. Margaret cried when Thomas shared the news. The community center had watched another miracle unfold, another life transformed through support, determination and hope. Emily decorated the house with congratulation signs, crayon-drawn computers, stick figure representations of her daddy as a hero. Her understanding of success was simple. Daddy was happy. The job meant more than money, it meant stability. It meant showing Emily that challenges could be overcome, that life could change with determination. Thomas's first paycheck felt like a miracle. No more constant worry about basic necessities. No more sleepless nights wondering how they would survive. The transformation wasn't just external. Thomas walked differently, spoke differently. His shoulders, once hunched with worry, now stood straight. Confidence replaced fear. Emily watched. Her father become someone new. Not just a survivor, but a fighter. Someone who proved that age was not a limitation. That learning had no boundaries. Their tiny apartment, once a symbol of struggle, now felt like a home of possibility. Bookshelves filled with technical manuals, Emily's drawings mixed with computer repair certificates. As winter approached, warmth filled their home, not just from the heater, but from hope, from the knowledge that they had faced impossible odds and won. Thomas looked at Emily one evening. She was drawing, creating her own world of possibilities. He realized he had given her more than just survival. He had shown her the power of never giving up. Breaking through wasn't just about passing an exam. It was about breaking through limitations, breaking through fear, breaking through the barriers that life had placed before them, and they had done it, together. The computer repair shop became Thomas's new world. Each day brought new challenges, new opportunities to learn and grow. His colleagues, initially skeptical of the older worker, soon recognized his dedication and skill. Mr. Anderson, the shop owner, watched Thomas carefully. He saw something special, not just technical ability, but a work ethic that was rare in younger employees. "You're the most reliable worker I've had," he would tell Thomas, appreciation clear in his voice. Their small apartment transformed. No more empty cupboards or constant worry about basic necessities. Emily got new school supplies, warm clothes, occasional treats that were once impossible dreams. Her lunches were no longer the cheapest options, but balanced, nutritious meals. Thomas started volunteering at the community center on weekends. He knew the struggle of those fighting to rebuild their lives. Margaret had been his angel, and now he wanted to be that support for others. Computer repair workshops for unemployed parents became his passion. Emily watched her father's transformation with wonder. The man who once came home defeated now returned with stories of helping people, of fixing complex computer problems. Her drawing started featuring her dad as a superhero, not with a cape, but with a screwdriver and computer parts. The local school noticed Thomas's change. Parents struggling with technology would seek his help. He became more than just a computer repair technician. He became a symbol of hope for the community. Financial stability brought unexpected joys. A small used car replaced their previous transportation challenges. Weekend trips became possible. Emily experienced things she had only dreamed about: museums, small vacations, experiences beyond their previous survival mode. Thomas never forgot the hard times. Each paycheck, each moment of success was a reminder of their journey. He opened a savings account for Emily's future, something that seemed impossible just months ago. The community center became a testament to his transformation. Other struggling parents would look at Thomas, seeing proof that change was possible. His story spread, inspiring those who felt trapped by their circumstances. Emily's school performance improved. The constant stress of financial uncertainty had lifted. She became more confident, more hopeful. Her teachers noticed a significant change, not just in her academic performance, but in her overall demeanor. Weekends became special. Thomas would teach Emily basic computer skills, turning learning into a game. She would giggle as she learned to repair simple electronic devices, her confidence growing with each small success. Margaret continued to be a guiding light. She would visit, bringing homemade cookies, sharing in their joy. "You've done more than just change your life," she would tell Thomas. "You've shown what true resilience looks like." The local newspaper ran a story about Thomas's journey, from unemployed factory worker to successful computer repair technician. It became an inspiration for many in the community, a reminder that age was not a barrier to learning and growth. Thomas's relationship with Emily deepened. No longer just surviving, they were truly living. Conversations became richer, filled with hopes, dreams, and possibilities. She understood the value of hard work, of never giving up. Their tiny apartment, once a symbol of struggle, now felt like a home of possibility. Bookshelves filled with technical manuals, Emily's drawings mixed with computer repair certificates. Each item told a story of transformation. As years passed, the struggle became a distant memory, but Thomas never forgot the lessons learned. Patience, determination, hope. These were the true skills he had mastered. Emily grew, influenced by her father's journey. She became passionate about technology, about helping others. The seed planted during those difficult years had grown into a powerful understanding of resilience. The community remembered Thomas's story. At the community center, his name became synonymous with hope, a reminder that with support, determination, and hard work, life could change. One evening, sitting together, Thomas looked at Emily. She was studying, her face concentrated, full of potential. He realized he had given her more than just survival. He had shown her the power of believing in oneself. Their journey was more than just a story of overcoming unemployment. It was a testament to the human spirit, to the power of love, determination, and hope. A new beginning wasn't just about finding her job. It was about finding purpose, about transforming challenges into opportunities, and they had done it, together,